Good morning, Year 10. We're going to do something a little bit different for the remainder of term. So we're going to have 6 weeks looking at a method of drawing that we just started thinking about before lockdown began. A method of drawing called orthographic drawing that is used by engineers all over the world. We're going to do it like this so that you can see me in the bottom corner, because I know you've been missing me terribly. I'm sure that's true. So we're going to have 6 weeks of using these little videos, and I'll send you some documents for some of the later weeks as well to work with. You might notice I've got quite a large mouse that I'm going to use to point things out. And I know what you're thinking. I think you're thinking you've got that large mouse because I'm getting old and not got very good eyesight, which is true. But I'm just using a large mouse so that I can point things out to you as we go along. Okay, so week one, this method of drawing called orthographic drawing. Now, the first thing we need to think about is the fact that that word orthographic is a bit of a strange word. It's not a word you're likely to encounter anywhere outside of engineering. So we need to know, first of all, what it means. So we know what the graphic bit of the word, if we look at it, is orthographic. We know what the graphic bit of the word means, because graphic means drawing. If you can do a GCSE in graphics, which is all to do with drawing. A graphic designer produces drawings and so on. Okay, so we know what graphic means, but we probably don't know what ortho means, and yet we have heard of it in other places. Okay, so you will have heard of an orthodontist if you've ever had a brace on your teeth. My daughter's had a brace on their teeth. If you've ever had a brace on your teeth, the orthodontist put that on your teeth and took it off again when they're done. And that was done so that you had straight, flat, lined up, good-looking teeth. Okay, and so orthodontists, they give you flat, straight, lined up teeth. If you've ever been unfortunate enough to break a bone, then when you went to hospital to have appointments about that, you went to the orthopedics department and you saw an orthopedic surgeon, and their job is the bone that you've broken to make it straight and lined up again. So you can see this word ortho has got something to do with things being flat, things being straight, things being lined up. Okay, so orthographic drawing is flat or straight or lined up drawing. Okay, so it isn't drawing in 3D. Okay, so the drawing we're going to be doing over the next 6 weeks is not drawing pictures in 3D. So you can draw a cube in 3D like that, or you can draw a cube in 3D like this. That's an oblique drawing where you got a flat side on the front, and then you do a bit of 3D, or an isometric drawing where you're looking at the view like that. That is not what we are doing here. Okay, we are doing a 2D drawings effectively. Okay, so orthographic drawing, flat, straight, lined up drawing. Okay, now then, let's have a look then. So you might remember this from way back before lockdown began, and we did a picture, or I started with you a picture of a house. Okay, so there is, now then, before we do that little symbol that's just dropped in there, strange little symbol, we are going to find out what that means. I think it's on week 3. So don't worry about that for now. It is important. And if you look on the internet at some orthographic drawings on the internet, you will always see a symbol a bit like that in one of the corners. We will talk about what that means in week 3. Okay, so anyway, here we go. Here is a picture of my house. Now then, remember what we said? It's not in 3D. So I've just done a 2D, a front view drawing of my house. You can't see the sides. You can't see the top or anything like that. It's just a 2D drawing, a flat face-on drawing of the front of my house. Okay, and that's the first bit done. Now then, I'm now going to do a side view. Okay, and one of the vital things, one of the rules about orthographic is that the side view needs to be drawn to the side. So I'm going to imagine that I'm stood where this arrow is, looking at the side of my house, and what I would see as I look at the side of my house, I am going to draw to the side. So what I see from the right-hand side, I'm going to draw to the right-hand side. Okay, now then, before I start drawing it, I'm going to put in some of these really light blue lines. Okay, on my computer they're light blue. If you were doing this on a piece of paper with a pencil, they're just really faint lines. They're called construction lines. Again, we're going to learn about the different types of lines week 3 or 4, I can't remember. Okay, 2 or 3 perhaps, week 2 or 3. Now then, I've drawn a line which shows me where the top of my chimney is, a line which shows me where the top of my roof is, a line that shows me where the sort of the gutters are, the bottom of the roof or the top of the wall, and then another line, where's my mouse gone, there it is, another line that shows me where the bottom of my house is. Okay, and when I draw this side view, it has got to all line up. So if you look, the top of the chimney lines up with the top of the chimney, the top of the roof lines up with the top of the roof, the gutters here line up with the gutters here, and the bottom lines up with the bottom there. That is absolutely vital. That's like one of the key rules when we do an orthographic drawing. So I've done a front view, now I've done a side view, a right hand side view, and what you see on the right hand side I have drawn on the right hand side. Okay, now I'm going to do a view from above. Okay, now that has different names because it's the view from above. I'm drawing it above, just like I drew the right hand view from the right hand side. I draw the view from above, I draw it above. People call it different things. Probably the best name to call it is a plan view, especially for a building. A plan view. Sometimes people call it a top view. I suppose sometimes people call it a bird's eye view. Not so keen on that. But we'll go for plan view at the moment. Now I'm going to put in some more of those construction lines before I do it. I'm going to put one for the left and right hand side of my house and one for the left and right hand side of my chimney. Okay, because again, this view from above has got to line up properly. Okay, now then, using these 4 blue lines, I can get the width of my house and the width of my chimney, but I don't really know yet how deep my house is. And the only way I can get the depth of my house is by looking at this side view here. Now I'm going to do something which might seem a little bit complicated, but watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in a line at 45 degrees there. Okay, and it's above this side view. You might think, okay, how does that help? Now watch what's going to happen. I'm going to put in a line in front of my there. Okay, so this is the front of my house. This line goes up until it hits that 45 degree line, and then where it hits that 45 degree line, it then comes across here. I'm going to do another one. Now from the back of my house, okay, I come up until I hit that 45 degree line, and then I come across. Now I can see how wide my house is and how deep my house is. Okay, and I can draw that in as an outline. Okay, so now I've got my house, it's the right width because it lines up with this drawing, and it's the right depth. Okay, because I've used this 45 degree line technique. I can do a similar thing for the reach of the, like the top of your roof is. Okay, so your reach of your roof is there, and go up till I hit that line, go across, and that now gives me the middle of my roof. And I can do the same thing for a chimney. Okay, so I can go up to there and across, and go up to there. Sorry, I clicked too soon there. There we go, let's show that again. I can go up to there and across, and up to there and across, and then I can put in the outline of my chimney. Okay, and so now, and it's therefore in the right place. And notice the chimney lines up with the chimney here. Okay, so and that's not 3 drawings, that's 1 orthographic drawing. Okay, with a front view, a side view, and a plan view. Okay, so don't think of that as 3 separate drawings. That's just 1 drawing, 1 orthographic drawing. And I've got a 2D view of the front of my house. I've got a 2D view of the side of my house lined up at the side. And I've got a 2D view of the plan of my house, or the top view of my house lined up at the top. Okay, I didn't really need this big arrow and this big arrow. That was just to kind of give you the idea a little bit more. Okay, so then what are you going to do now then? Okay, so we're going to have a few tasks for you to do this week, and then I want you to send them me. You can either send them me on email, or you can do them on paper and photograph it with your phone and send it me on email, or send it me via Teams. I don't mind which, I'll look at both. Okay, so first thing, I want to answer the questions on the next slide. So it makes sense that we go and have a look at those questions. So let's go and have a look at those questions on the next slide. So here we go. Firstly, what does orthographic mean? We spent a few minutes ago looking at what that word means. You can go back in the video and have another look if it helps you. But what does orthographic mean? Okay, that's the first thing. And secondly, in the drawing below, so there's a Formula 1 car below. I think it's a Ferrari from a few years ago because it was sponsored by Marlboro. So I reckon it's a Ferrari from a few years ago. But there's an orthographic drawing there. Is it correct? Okay. Is that correct, or is there something wrong with it? Okay. I'm going to give you a clue. There is something wrong with it. What's wrong with it is what I want to know. Okay. So there's some things that are good and that are right, and there are some things that are not good or something that's not good and not right. Okay, so what does orthographic mean is your first question, and what's wrong with that drawing, that orthographic drawing there below? See if you can spot it. Okay, so that's your first thing to do, answer those two questions. Okay, your next thing to do, I want you to find me one more word that has ortho in it or begins with ortho. Okay, and it has to be a word where the use of ortho relates to straight or lined up in some way. Okay, so you might need to use Google, you might need to use a dictionary. I've got a dictionary at home. I looked it up, there's loads of them. Some of them are very complicated and words I'd never heard of, so make sure you choose a word that you understand, and make sure it's a word where they've used ortho because it means straight or lined up in some way, and you explain to me how it means straight or lined up in some way. Okay, and then the third thing I want you to do, I want you to draw your house in orthographic. Okay, so I gave you a very simple drawing of a house. Don't go for every last detail. I don't want you to draw each individual brick and put the letterbox on and everything. Just simplify it a little bit, but draw your house, front view, side view, plan view. Now then, it is more than likely, I'd say it's almost guaranteed, that some of you, your house is joined to somebody else's house. Either it's semi-detached and there's another house on one side, or it's a terraced house and there's houses on both sides. Okay, I want you to imagine that the house or the houses that you're attached to were taken away, were knocked down. Please don't knock down the neighbour's house, they won't like it. But just imagine that they were taken away and draw just your house. Okay, so a front view of what it looks like, a side view of what it would look like if there were no other houses attached to it, and a plan view of what it would look like if you could get a drone and fly it above and look at it from above. And make sure that, just like in this little image here, that the front view and the side, they all line up with each other, and the plan view and the front view, again, they line up with each other. And if you can use 45-degree technique, that'd be brilliant. You don't need to draw, these people here draw a cross in the middle here, you don't need to do that. But just make sure they line up. If they don't line up with each other, then all you've done is draw views of your house. You haven't done an orthographic drawing. Okay, so they are your tasks for this week. If you've got any questions, email me. I'm on my emails pretty much all day, every day. Maybe not on the weekend so much, but you'll get this on a Wednesday. So email me if you're not sure, and send me your stuff either by email or a photograph, especially a drawing of your house. You'll probably need to do that on paper and then photograph it with your phone and send it to me by email that way. Okay, hope that all makes sense. Watch the video again if it helps. If you want to keep pausing it to help you answer some of the questions, then you go for it. Okay, and I look forward to getting your work. Okay, I trust you're all keeping well and coping with lockdown okay, and I will see you with another video next week. Okay, take care, folks. Bye.